Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Purpose Department podcast. Today we have a special guest here, Zach Moore, and my dad. So,
Your dad.
Zach Moore and my dad.
All right.
Yes, Gimpy is back in action, guys.
Yes.
I am still here, still repping the boxing glove.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so Zach, since you're a special guest, we're gonna have to ask you a couple of questions. Are you
Sure.
ready?
Do some fun ones, huh? You have him
right.
on the spot. You can ask him literally anything.
Anything. I know everything.
What's your favorite color, Zach?
Purple.
Purple.
That's why you and Makai are such good friends.
Oh,
You
yeah,
both
that's
love
right.
purple.
Purple's the coolest color.
If you could have any video game console, just free everything, but you could not play like the number one trending game from each year, which console would it be?
That's hard.
So,
We got like 30 seconds in, and Jaden's going deep already.
No, like
So
hard questions.
I pick the console
you
that
pick
I
the
want.
console that you want, get everything free except for each year's best game of the year.
Well, my favorite game has been the best game of the year for a long time.
What game was that?
Fortnite.
All right.
Fortnite. Love it.
Xbox.
Xbox.
I would never get a PlayStation.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
choice.
it's hard to, even to this day, I still have right now, yes, I have a hard time period playing, but I never got used to
you
the
can play with your
PlayStation
foot,
controllers.
right? You can do like the
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. I can play with chopsticks. That'll work. So,
awesome.
yeah.
All right.
All right. So, Zach, man, once again, dude, so glad to have you here. You know, with our Purpose Department podcast, everything that we're focusing on is empowering one another with our dreams, but then also stepping into purpose. And for those of you guys who don't know, Zach and I are business partners. We've got our own creatives business called what, broski?
More creatives.
There
Named
we
after
go.
you with 2 O's. So, we've been super blessed and just enjoying it, learning a lot, going through a lot of the ups and downs. But why don't you just tell us a little bit about that real quick, and then we'll jump into some other stuff.
Yeah. How long ago was it? Like a year?
Year and a half?
Year and a half.
We're a year and a half
It's been a
old.
long time.
Yeah. So, yeah, actually, like, I started this business, like, I guess it wasn't really a business, but I created this, like, Instagram account called More Networking. And it was, like, I was going to do, like, just strictly social media. For those of you that don't know, I've done social media, like, my entire life. So I was going to help others with social media, specifically churches and nonprofits. Well, my first client ever was Mesa Church, where this guy was the creative pastor.
Yeah.
And so me and Pete met, and he was like, so you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I could do that for you guys. It was like, what, 600 something a month?
I don't. Yeah, it was something. But
something super small.
Yeah.
And Pete was like, do you have a contract? And I was like, what is that? So we built the contract, and me and Pete worked together for a couple months, and then we
then we met up for
connected.
sushi
Yeah.
and dreamed a little bit and said, let's do this thing. And then we stepped out in faith, and here we are, continuing to step out in faith a year and a half later.
Yeah.
And we're sitting actually in one of our digs for our office space, and so it's been really, really cool.
unreal.
So with this, Zach, I know about you, our family, my kids know you. You are officially, man, you're an engaged dude right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
flying high.
Yeah.
Who's your special girl?
Dakota.
Got to give her. Oh, look at that. He was like Dakota.
Yeah.
All dreamy right there.
You know.
Like, look, you can see it in his eyes. Like, look at that.
He's got that
Oh.
little twinkle. Hey, Dakota, that's for you. Watch. Look, man.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Yeah. So it's so good. Now, in this, right, I mean, I love that you're a man of faith. You've got a passion, desire. You're highly gifted and creative. You're also a social media influencer, like the things that you're doing, but all of your stuff always points back to your faith and to what God did in your life. And so here on our podcast, we like to talk about purpose and kind of the journey and have people share just what led them to this place. So, how old are you right now?
22.
22. So why don't you, for our listeners and for those who are watching, and once again, if you guys haven't yet, subscribe, give us
Please.
a follow, give us some comments, let the kids know what you think of the episodes and all that good stuff. But I'd love for you, Zach, just to tell us a little bit of kind of not your origin story, but like how did you really step into purpose? Like, what happened? What kind of brought you to this place to where you are today at 22, helping run a creative agency, building faith, you know, reaching people, you know, all that different stuff. Like, what led you to it, man? What happened?
Yeah, it's crazy. So, well, first off, I grew up with parents who were really supportive in anything that I did, and like kind of showed me the ropes when it came to, you know, Jesus and the church and different things. And my dad's always been a man of faith, that, you know, he would really help me understand like what Jesus did for me and why even go to church and different things like that. So I got saved when I was 8, in the back of my dad's truck. He kind of led me through the prayer. But during that same time, actually, like I was in love with movies. I would like always watch movies with my dad, with my sister, my mom. We would like, literally that was our thing, is watching movies. I loved Marvel. So like Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was my favorite, the Avengers, all of it. So I got really hooked into, you know, the CGI and like the way that, like I would notice, you know, what kind of music they were using and different things like that. So I just like really loved, I really loved movies, and I wanted to learn how to make them. Growing up, I've always been like an artist, a creative. I would always draw and different things and create little animations on the computer. And my dad bought me my first camera. I was like probably 7 or something, and I would take my little WWE action figures and do like stop motion. And that's kind of like, I've always loved just like creating. And my mom bought me Adobe Premiere Pro when I was young.
Okay.
I was like begging her for it. I was like, I really want this software so I can just learn it and this and that. So when I was like anywhere from 8 to like 10 years old, my mom bought me that. And
dude, that's crazy. 8 to 10, and you're learning Adobe Premiere.
Taught myself everything in my room. I would like make YouTube videos and just like fell in love with editing. And my dream has always been to be a part of a movie and be a lead video editor for Marvel specifically. So the dream's not gone yet.
No,
like I could still
you
achieve
still
it.
got plenty of time.
Yeah. So that's the dream. But after just learning that, I kind of, you know, went through the motions of going to high school, playing sports, all of that. But I always had that creative passion. Started a YouTube channel in 9th grade. Gained some traction. I did like trampoline and flips and stuff like that.
You show me some of those videos.
Oh
You remember
yeah, dude, those are crazy, man.
Yeah. So I did vlogs and stuff like that. That was like the first social media platform that blew up for me. I was 15, I think, something like that. And so I took my editing skills. This was like my second YouTube channel, and started posting content. And just took off. Like would do like tutorials and stuff like that. Really learned Adobe like during that period of my life. Went to a media class in high school. I like kind of knew everything already, so I was like kind of the one helping everybody. And then I got accepted into film school, Full Sail University. I was going to go learn to be a director and a kind of like lead movies, because I wanted to learn how to direct a movie before I stepped in as an editing you know, person for a movie. Got accepted, and then parents got divorced. A lot of stuff went down in my life. Yeah. And kind of that passion kind of went away. It's like I'm not really focused on that anymore, and quit YouTube, quit all of the above. And then COVID hit right after that. Graduated high school, didn't actually get a graduation, but COVID actually saved me.
Okay.
Yeah. I was failing all my classes, and then COVID happened, so they took my grades from the previous year, passed me.
I mean, you know, I guess to think about it, so, I mean, I grew up in a broken home. Like, my dad left when I was 2, so, you know, I grew up having my own dad issues and different things like that. So, I mean, to talk about at your age at that time, and then to go through a divorce and, you know, all the stuff, the complexities that happen with that, like, what, I mean, can you describe that a little bit? Like, just what happened, like where it took you? Because you said you lost your passions and some different things. Like, what was that like? Because I think for a lot of people who are watching different things like that, they're we all run through stuff and we go through stuff and we have our dark moments, and if we can learn how to identify those things, I think it helps us in the long run. You know what I mean?
I think I've always been a person who could expect what's going to happen in the future. And when things don't go the way that you expect, you crash.
Okay.
So I think it kind of, when you have purpose, like I knew my purpose was to create, like from the very beginning. But when what you're expecting to happen, like life is going so good and then everything crashes, it's like you doubt your purpose, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
So it's like
facts.
my focus wasn't on what I love to do anymore. It was on like, okay, I need to survive during the season. Like I need to, like, I was taking care of my sister and, you know, kind of navigating all these feelings, like dating for the first time and stuff like that. And just like a lot was going on in my life. And I think when you lose focus of your purpose and like what you were created for, it's easy to kind of fall into that pit, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I was at. And so I gave up on film school. I was like, I'm not doing college.
Yeah.
I decommitted to going. And COVID happened right after that. And during COVID, one of my best friends went to a church camp. Like, I think it was a little bit before everything shut down.
Okay.
So he went to like a church camp and kind of was like sharing, like his parents went through a divorce too. And like was just sharing with me like how Jesus impacted his life. And I was like, really, dude? Like, that's not what I want to hear right now. And so I gave Jesus a shot, and I was like, okay, I guess, like, why not? Like, I'm done trying other things, right?
Yeah.
And so I did, and he was kind of like a Christian influencer at the time. I was like posting videos on TikTok. So I was like, I'm going to try that. So I started, posting Christian videos, like kind of getting back into the faith, and then started reading the Bible to make content. And then it got
always good.
got to the point.
I love how it started with like, I need to read this to make content.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That's like,
Yeah. And like, it got to the point where I was picking up the Bible off the shelf and reading it without making content, just because I loved it. So I fell in love with
so
the Word
good.
of God.
so
love that.
cool.
Yeah, I fell in love with the Word of God, and like really just like I don't know, I had this purpose, but then I found my true purpose.
Okay.
Which is to love God and love other people. So I fell in love with the Word of God, fell in love with telling people about Him. My platforms, TikTok grew to over 200,000 followers. Instagram is now at like 65,000 followers.
And that's hardcore. Can I just say that real quick? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
the reality, just to even have those, like, numbers don't just say, but the fact that that's God is giving you that favor,
Yeah, exactly.
because there are lots of people, like including myself, who are staying committed for certain things, but it's just a grind, and it's all
Yeah.
about consistency. But
He
to
kinda
see God's
dumped-
blessing on
yeah.
it, like in that way, not to say, you know what I mean? That's something to be grateful for. Like,
Yeah, but
just to be-
even like within the first 3 months, I gained 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
Me, like, I had a following before, but nothing like this.
No, yeah.
So God literally dumped it on me and was like, I trust you with this. Steward it well. So trying to navigate that too, it
and the
was like,
pressures of navigating that at how old?
I was 19,
Dang.
18. Oh yeah, I was 18.
That's what kind of pressures did you have to navigate with that? Like,
Oh, man.
what kind of thoughts did you feel? What was the
Well,
The emo-
people
you know.
were like, I don't do TikTok so much anymore. I'm kind of like focused, on my career as a video editor now. But like at the time, it was like that was my source of income. That was like my everything. And it was like a lot of pressure because people were watching every move that I made. So I traveled the country with a group of friends who had followings, and we did ministry.
Yeah.
And fell in love with the ministry side of, being a Christ follower. And I literally it was hard with people watching everything that you did, because you couldn't really say, like, I had to double check things that I would say so people wouldn't get mad, because cancel culture was being formed at the time. And there was actually a time when some rumors were going around that like our group was like, false prophets and racist and all this kind of stuff.
Dang.
And people were coming for me like big time, like some serious hate. So like that's just one of the pressures. But like imagine like all eyes on you, like having to, and if you stop creating content, people get mad. So you got to really be creative. And I think that's what kept my creative headspace. But to move past this, we don't have too much time, but like to move past all of that, having this following, I really found Jesus as a person.
Okay.
Like he was my best friend. Like I really understood him and loved telling people about him. So one of my friends, his name's Zach, he as well, but he was going to Hillsong College, and I was like, dude, I gave up on college a long time ago. Somehow it convinced me to go. I went to Hillsong for 3 semesters. They had like something happened within their church, so moved out here to Orange County. And it's crazy how I was like, okay, I need a job now. Social media I can't make enough to live in California.
Yeah.
So started applying for jobs and applied. K-Wave was one of them. They took a chance on me, hired me, and within a year I became their full-on social media strategist and video producer. Bought my first actual legit camera and learned the ins and outs of it. And it's like God, he brought that purpose back. So it's almost like, so then that's how I started my creative journey now, from when I was 20 to now 22, almost 23, is like he brought it back. So it's like the purpose I had before, it's like God took it away to learn what my real purpose was him. And then he gave it back, and now I do it for the kingdom. It's pretty interesting.
It's crazy that all that happened in like the span of like 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And that just shows
Crazy.
that, like, yeah, no, wow, that's crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, now that passion and those desires are back, but I have a foundation of Jesus, you know? It's like, what if I did go to film school, moved out to LA, got involved in Hollywood, how demonic it is now? Like, you never know what God was saving me from, you know?
Yeah.
So and I was really good as a high schooler. Like,
Right.
I had a scholarship, I had like everything was going good, you know? And it's like the Lord saves you in ways that you can't understand until you're on the other side, so.
I think, I mean, you alliterated to it several times and talked about, you know, how your purpose was this, but then you felt like through Christ your purpose was this. I almost kind of look at it as, you know, our purpose is our gifting. It's the things that drives us. It's the things that we're passionate about. And I love that, you know, I know both of you guys are young, but as you get older, you'll see how certain things will come full circle. You know, and you'll get more and more of those, and almost kind of like those spiritual deja vu moments. But what I find out in the reality is the purpose and the why and all those different things, like God shapes them. And we've always got that. I pray that we always have some type of drive like that, but it's the purpose of not producing things, but it's really getting back into the identity of like who we actually are.
Exactly. There's a difference.
You know, and so being firm and stable in your identity then leads to actually having fulfillment through your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like, what kind of things? How did God really shape you just in your identity part? You know, to where you really knew how to stand.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing was learning that he's my only audience.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. When you get dumped a ton of followers on you so young, like, people think it's this awesome thing, like I wasn't famous, but like I had a lot of people like watching my stuff, and people think it's awesome until all you care about is the followers and all you care about is the attention and different things like that. So I think like God like really was shaping my identity in that season, and it was almost like he was testing me. Like, is your audience these people, or is your audience me? And so I had to learn, like, it got to the point where like I would delete a post if it didn't get as many likes as the one before. I was like, come on, dude. It was like, it was all sharing Jesus. Why would I? It doesn't matter if it reaches 1,000 or one person, right? So I had to learn that, and it took me a long time to learn that it doesn't matter how many likes you get. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. It's the heart behind what you do. And it's actually cool because I posted a video and it didn't get a lot of likes, but I saw like some of the comments. There was like, 2 or 3 comments, and it was like, I came to this realization. It's like those 3 people needed to hear this. So like, that's all that matters, right? And so that's one of the ways that he kind of like, I am not my followers, I am not my money, I am not my business, I am not
That's good.
my anything. I'm his.
Man,
and only
that,
his.
dude, say that freaking again. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So-
We're not
We're not our followers. I love that. Like, we're not our videos that we produce. We are just who we are in God. I like that. That's
Yeah.
really good.
So that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Especially you being in high school now,
Mhm.
coming up.
Yeah.
freshman.
Like,
Crazy.
remember that, like, people, I'm going to give you some advice because I went through it. So did your dad too. But like walking through high school, there's going to be people that are going to judge you and look at you and give their opinions about you, either to your face or behind your back, or like, oh, look at the shoes he's wearing, look at the jacket he's wearing, different things like that. And it's like, the best advice I can give you is, in 20 years, you're not even going to remember who those people are.
Exactly.
It doesn't even matter. And that's one thing that I struggled with in high school, was like trying to be the cool kid, trying to fit in, trying to look like everybody else. And like, man, it was depressing and exhausting. And like, that's the biggest advice I could give. Mm-hmm. And I think like if I think I would be in a lot different headspace when the divorce happened if I were to realize that sooner, that like other people didn't matter, so.
It doesn't matter what like other people think about you. It only matters what you are in like God's eyes.
Exactly.
Man, that's some good stuff.
And your purpose.
Yeah.
Like, focus on your purpose. Like, people thought I was like weird for starting a YouTube channel in high school. It's like, look at me now. I literally learned so much doing that, and now I'm doing what I love. Whereas the people who were judging me are probably welding somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just an example, but like doing what they don't love. And it's like, start early doing what you love and not caring about what other people think, and see how far God will take you. You're just being obedient to the desires he gave you when you were born, right?
Yeah. I think, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, no, because like ultimately, like your purpose is going to lead you farther than anything else.
Mm.
And like what you're like interested in, if you really, really pursue it, because people are like, I have passions and stuff like that, and then they don't pursue them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they complain about being in a 9-to-5 job and getting like meager pay.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they didn't really pursue their passion, and they didn't really pursue their purpose. Because if you truly pursue your passion, pursue the purpose that you've been given, then it just makes everything go.
Comparison
Yeah.
hinders your success big
Exactly.
time. So,
I think the biggest part of it is when you start to find stability in just who you are and who God thinks that you are, right? Then as you're living out your purpose, you continue to grow and just enjoy the process of becoming more and more like Christ.
yeah.
Because like who I am today, I mean, even just to be honest with you, just a little over a year and a half ago when we both stepped out in faith to say, hey, let's start this side hustle, who I've become over this past year and a half is a night and day difference
Mm-hmm.
than who I was before that, as a pastor who had been in ministry for a long time and all these different things. And what I've grown, like what I've learned, there's always been stuff that's been in there, but now it's a time where God is, through the process of who I'm becoming, that it ends up becoming a little more richer as far as like who you are, your foundation, your purpose. You start to see it a whole lot differently.
It's
when
like
God's in it.
you have all these desires and these giftings and these skills like in a backpack, and you're holding the backpack and it's getting heavier and heavier and heavier. It's like God gives us the backpack full of things that we can use. It's our job to unzip it and use them. Right? So that's the biggest thing is like, what if you didn't step out? Like, what if you didn't continue to pursue what you love to do? Like, how heavy would it be? Like, you were in ministry for 20 something years and like you loved it, obviously, like it was fun, like that was your passion, but in a way you were missing something, and like you wanted to, like I've seen you're more happy now than you were, you know, doing the grind, the Easter, the Christmas, all of that, right? So it's like, I think like it's almost like when you do what you love, like life's not as heavy. That makes sense. So I like that.
I have this mental image. I know, like, I don't know if you guys, I love sweet tea. If any of you, I know.
I'm from Louisiana.
Okay, so yeah, so, you know, sweet tea to where, not to where you take a sip and your teeth fall out, but like, I love sweet tea, but God gave me this picture yesterday because we were reading through some passages and talking about how through the Holy Spirit, like, God wants us to stir things up. And so I had this picture of sweet tea, and I love the taste of sweet tea. I love it when it's fresh and it's got ice in it and it's got that chill. But, you know, if you let it sit for a little while, you look at the bottom and you see all the stuff just sitting there. And I kind of think of it as purpose too, in a lot of ways, is if we just step out in boldness and in confidence, like, because of who we are, even if we don't fully comprehend or understand it, but if we just step out and step into our purpose and start doing things, like, God will agitate those things, and you'll start to taste something that's a whole lot sweeter, and you kind of begin to like almost fall in love and like appreciate it again. You know, because it's been stirred up. So some of it, like, it still has, like, sweet tea, it has that same flavor. It has a good flavor, but when you stir it up after some of it's kind of settled to the bottom, it's like, oh wow, man, it is that good again. You know, and that's kind of what I think of it.
Yeah, it's good.
Know? So
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, pause right here. Blakely, I was talking about the fan. We need to put the
Oh, it's
fan
okay.
on.
Is it okay? I know we can wrap up here. No. It's okay. Everything good?
Yeah, everything's
Okay.
good.
So Jaden, you have any more questions for me?
Probably. What was it like? What was it like being like a huge influencer? Not like a huge influencer, but like having like your YouTube channel and then just giving all that up. Like, do you have any regrets? Like, did you have any regrets before you found Christ of just like, dang it, I shouldn't have given that up, or like, what was your thought process of like not having that sort of like following anymore?
So I can't imagine how my life would have went if I didn't change the path that I was going on. Like, if I would have went to film school, I wouldn't have went to Hillsong. I wouldn't have had as strong of a relationship with God that I have now. I wouldn't have moved out here to California. I wouldn't have this business. I wouldn't have met my fiance. I wouldn't have, like, there's so many I wouldn't haves if I chose it any differently. So me personally, I'm a guy that lives with no regrets. I don't have any regrets as far as like, there are things that I could have done differently that maybe would have had a better outcome, but to see the things that I've learned and the way that God has used those things to grow me and push me towards something bigger, I don't regret any of it. And
That's good.
I mean, I regret the sin, obviously, like that, like walking in sin in high school and different things. Like, I regret that.
The thing is, Christ died for that, though. So
Yeah,
it's like wiped clean off your plate.
exactly. Like he looks at me and sees someone different now, and so, but obviously, like, there's that level of regret. It's like I was hurting Jesus when I was doing those things. So it's kind of like, but then again, it's like that without that season of my life, I would not be where I am today. So I'm just more grateful. I'm not grateful for the season. I'm grateful for how God used it.
Yeah. You're grateful for the process.
Yeah.
On this side of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people that are like aspiring to become like social media like influencers, like gain a huge following or something? Like, do you have any advice for just those kinds of, for people that want to go that way?
Be yourself, and like I was telling you, don't worry about the likes and the followers and the they call it clout now apparently. Don't worry about all that. Like, literally just do what you love, post what you love, have fun with it. There shouldn't be a timeline on it. It shouldn't cause you stress.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Well, that's good.
like people are like, I only have 1,000 followers. Go to Google and search up what 1,000 people looks like. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just wouldn't. That's the biggest thing. If you want to do it, but don't stress yourself out. It's not worth the stress. So,
That's good. Well, bro, thank you so much for joining us on this one, and it's been. I mean, it's truly an honor, man. I love doing stuff with you, man. So I know we've had a crazy day. You and I have been busy a lot today, and just carving out some time for this for the kids and everything too. So super good. Jay, you got anything else?
What is it like being engaged right now, Zach?
oh man,
What's like going through your head currently of like just
it's a season I don't want to slow down. I'm ready to get married. Nah, but it's definitely a blessing. Super fun.
nice.
It's definitely cool being able to introduce her as like my fiance instead of girlfriend.
Yeah, dude.
It's something
awesome.
else, but just trying to cherish the season, and not rush it and really soak it in. So
Awesome.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Jay, why don't you close us out, man?
All right. Thank you for watching the 3rd episode of the Purpose Department podcast, and let's give thanks to Zach for coming in here and joining us today.
Air clap.
Yeah, so and then just actual clap. I'll
Hey.
clap for him. But thank you, and this is the Purpose Department signing off. Have a great day.